The namesake begins with Ashok being the only survivor of a train crash that occurred when he was reading The Overcoat by Nikolai Gogol. His life was essentially saved outside of the derailed train because he was recognized by officers seeing the waving, crumpling page.
I have been lying here in pain for 1 full year. I will never forget this experience. It will forever impact my life.
That crash inspired Ashok to move to America and escape his old life. He has returned to India once more to find a wife.
Ashima, meet your husband-to-be. He has graduated first in his class from St. Xavier's and BE College. He's been living 2 years abroad in Boston, earning a PhD in fiber optics.
Ashima had never heard of fiber optics or a place called Boston.
Now we need to know, are you willing to fly on a plane to live alone, without family, in a city with severe snowy winters?
But won't he be there?
It was only after the engagement that Ashima learned this man was named Ashok. Within 2 weeks, they were married and living together in a small apartment in Cambridge. Ashima desperately missed her home in the town of Calcutta and wished to return, but she slowly began to adjust to American life. While Ashok was a stranger to her at the start of their marriage, they grew to have feelings for each other. Eventually, they had a baby boy.
So what is the child's name?
We have not chosen one yet.
We cannot release the child if he does not have a name for his birth certificate.
But sir, we can't possibly name him ourselves.
I see. The reason being?
We are waiting for a letter. We have decided to let his great-grandmother in India choose his good name. It's our tradition that the child has a good name which he is referred to by the outside world, and has a pet name for the family to use.
Do you have any backups? Please think of a name.
Looking at the baby, the perfect name comes to Ashok, a name which has held a special meaning to him after reading Nikolai Gogol's The Overcoat, the night of the train accident that changed his life.
Hello, Gogol. Gogol.
Ashok and Ashima do not come up with a good name for Gogol until he's about to begin kindergarten. The name they choose is Nikhil.
Why do I have to change my name?
It's a part of growing up, and it's a part of being Bengali. Your mother and I have 2 names as well. To us, you'll never be anything but Gogol.
Okay.
Gogol does not start school until the 2nd week. He claimed to have a stomach ache, not wanting to attend school and go by a new name.
Hi, nice to meet you. This way. Welcome to elementary school, Nikhil. I'm your principal, Mrs. Lapidus. Can you tell me how old you are? Nikhil, can you tell me how old you are? Mr. Gimuli, does Nikhil follow English?
Of course he follows. My son is perfectly bilingual. Come on, Gogol. Tell us how old you are.
What was that?
I beg your pardon,
The
ma'am?
name you called him something with a G.
That is a name that we call him at home only. His good name should be, is Nikhil.
I'm afraid I don't understand. Good name?
Yes.
There seems to be some confusion, Mr. Ganguly. According to these documents, your son's legal name is Gogol.
That is correct. But please do allow me to explain.
But you want us to call him Nikhil?
Yes,
The reason being,
that is our wish.
I'm not sure I follow you. Do you mean that Nikhil is his middle name or nickname? Many of the children go by nicknames here.
No, it's not a middle name. He has no middle name, no nickname. The boy's good name, his school name, is Nikhil.
But he clearly doesn't respond.
Please, Mrs. Lapidus, it is common for a child to be confused at first. Please give it some time, and he will grow accustomed.
Called by a different name, Gogol?
My parents want me to have a different name.
You want Gogol? Then it's settled.
Gogol's 14th birthday, a celebration that takes on 2 lives, in American and in Bengali. At Gogol's first party, he ate American food and played basketball. He sits, deflated from the second party, lush with Indian food and traditional clothing.
Come in.
I ordered this from the bookstore. It took months to arrive.
Thanks, Baba.
I feel a special kinship with this author, Nikolai Gogol. He spent most of his life outside his homeland, like me. And there's another reason.
What is it?
I will tell you another time. We all came out of Gogol's overcoat.
I want to change my name to Nikhil. Changing names isn't weird here.
What's done is done. It will be a hassle.
I don't get it. Why do you have to get me a pet name in the first place? What's the point?
It's our way, Gogol. It's what Bengalis do.
But it's not even a Bengali name. No one takes me seriously.
Who does not take you seriously?
People.
I don't know, Gogol.
change it. In America, anything is possible. Do as you wish.
After much self-torment over his own name and wanting to be more American, Gogol goes before a judge and changes his name to Nikhil. He's now attending Yale.
Yo, what's up?
Not much, homie.
Is Gogo your first name or last?
Actually, it's my middle name. Nikhil is my first name, but it got left out for some reason.
Oh, cool. In college, Gogo meets Ruth on a train.
Gogo, I'm going to London to study. I hope we can continue our relationship.
Of course we can, Ruth. I love you.
Despite their efforts, Gogo and Ruth couldn't maintain their long-distance relationship, and once she returned from London, they ended everything. Past few years, and Gogol's working at an architecture firm. He's invited to a party where he meets a friend of a friend, an intelligent girl named Maxine.
Hi, I'm Maxine.
Hey, I'm Nikhil.
Gogo and Maxine immediately kick it off and either move in together only after a few dates. Their relationship is strong and loving, and Gogo grows close with Maxine and her family through many experiences, like summer trips to Maxine's house in New Hampshire and fancy dinner dates.
We will be together forever.
Of course we will, darling.
Hello?
I'm sorry to call you with bad news, but I'm in the emergency room right now with stomach pain. It's nothing serious, I promise, but the ER is the only thing open at this hour.
I'm so sorry to hear that, husband. Hello? How's my husband?
Sorry, ma'am, but we've been trying to reach you.
What seemed to be a man in great health, the shock of Ashok's death shook Gogol to his core. The traditions that seemed unnecessary to his younger self, he now practiced in his father's memory.
Gogo may not have shaved his head as his father did for mourning Gogo's grandfather, but in honor of him, he and his family only ate rice, dal, and vegetables.
You can't stay with your mother forever, Nikhil. I miss you.
After a month of staying with his mother, Gogo finally moved back in with Maxine, although things never went back to the way they used to be. Father's death. He still lives in New York, rents the apartment on Amsterdam Avenue, works for the same firm. The only significant difference in his life, apart from the absence of his father, is the additional absence of Maxine. After Gogol has an affair with the woman who he works with, Ashima constantly calls to tell Gogol of a woman of his past she wants him to meet. Gogol is reluctant to call her or write down her number, but he asks himself what the harm is to talk to an old friend. The two set up a place to meet.
Mushimi?
Hey there.
The two talk about their awkward encounter at past Bengali celebrations. Mushimi asks about Gogol's family and her residence in Paris. The conversations turn to a recent divorce and they decide to find another place to get food. The time passes in a restaurant and they walk outside.
So, should we make our parents happy and see each other again?
Maybe. Give me a call.
After many dates, the two decide to marry. Their wedding is a Bengali one, and both live in a small but luxurious apartment in New York. Ashima thinks of how Gogol and Mushami have diverged from their collective Bengali obligation and get a divorce.
This divorce never would have happened in our generation. I never would have left Ashok, and he never would have left me. Oh, how my life is filled with solidarity.
The divorce had happened months before, but the dialogue between Mushami and Gogol came before on a train. Mushami's quick mouth had caught up to her on the train when she accidentally mentioned Dimitri's name.
Dimitri says Sienna is something out of a fairy tale.
Who's Dimitri? Are you having an affair?
Later that night, Mushami tells Gogol all that she had done, and the day after Christmas, she leaves for New York by herself. They file for divorce, and after a few months, Mushami moves back to Paris. Even in the present day, Gogol still feels bad for the divorce.
Though the shock has left, there still remains a feeling of failure and shame that I can't shake. I'm 32 and already married and divorced.
We cut to the end of the story at a Christmas party with the Ganguly family. The family decorates the Christmas tree and the party begins. Everyone enjoys themselves, but Gogol starts to think back on his life and what it has come to. He thinks of his father's accident, how his great-grandmother's chosen name had been lost all the way to his father's death, and wonders if his life has just been a series of one accident leading to another. He excuses himself into his room where he finds the Nikolai Gogol book he had been given by his father on his 14th birthday. In the front cover of the story, Ashok had written, "The man who gave you his name from the man who gave you your name." He then starts to think of his future, how the only times he will hear or see Gogol ever again is from his mother in email or over the phone. He starts to read over some of the history of Nikolai Gogol and his life story. He then thinks of how, in a few minutes, he will go down to enjoy the party, and after he will help his mother clean up and go home. But for the few minutes his mother is distracted, he opens the book and begins to read.